think we are live, Nick.
Oh, perfect. I was just slacking you, actually. Hey, everybody. Thank you for joining today's webinar. We're going to give it just a couple of minutes, and then we'll get kicked off here. And Mitch, if you want to just let me know once the attendees look like they're starting to trail off from logging in, and then we'll open it up, and then I'll pass it over to you.
Sounds good. Still got some people trickling in, so we'll give it another minute or so, and then we can get things kicked off.
Perfect. Thanks, Mitch.
Okay, cool. Well, it looks like we've got a decent amount of people that have come in, so I think we can go ahead and get started. So I'll let Nick take it away for now.
That's great. Thank you, Mitch. I hope everyone had a nice holiday break for Thanksgiving and a successful Black Friday, Cyber Monday. Mitch and I are excited to have this webinar and for the upcoming ones that will be held in a similar fashion. So for anyone who's tuned in previously, we've held a series of kind of highly specific webinars for Glew Plus and Looker, how to leverage that solution, how to get the most out of your analytics and business intelligence reporting. Today's webinar is going to be a little bit more informal and a little bit different than our typical topic. Mitch is going to walk us through this past month's monthly product release for Glew Plus and Looker. So the topics that we cover today are going to range from things of new data tables that are available, so some new things you might see in there, new fields that have been added to existing data tables, and then some new functionality and enhancements throughout those tables. So, as we go through this, if you have any questions as far as how these new features, functions, data tables, and fields work that we haven't touched on, by all means, feel free to write in the chat, and we'll address those as we go. And as usual, this webinar is going to be recorded and is available for on-demand viewing. So within the chat, I'm just going to link out the Glew videos link for everyone if they want to watch any of the previous webinars or they need to jump and watch this on demand. So with that being said, Mitch, I'll let you take it away, and then I'll wrap us up at the end of this webinar with just a few notes as far as a couple of things that are coming down the pipe that that everyone can look forward to.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Nick. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started here. And Nick, are you able to see my screen?
Yeah, I can see it perfectly.
Perfect. So this is the sheet that we're going to be kind of just walking through today. This is kind of just an internal document that we use to, collab, make sure we write down all of the updates and product releases that we've been putting out over the past month. So we're just going to walk through a couple of these, I can show you, how to use some of the new functionalities we've added, where to find new fields or tables that we've added. And then Nick's going to finish off with some roadmap stuff that we should be releasing to you guys before the end of the year. So I will just start from the top here. So this was a request from a customer to get Shopify abandoned cart data. So what we've done is we have added a brand new Explorer that you'll find within the Shopify integration called abandoned carts. And from there, you'll see that we have both the abandoned carts table and the abandoned cart products table. So with these two tables, you'll be able to see the customer and the customer email. You'll be able to see when those abandoned carts happened. And then you'll also be able to see the products that were in that abandoned cart. So that should be some really important data that is now available to report on within your Shopify integration there. Next on the list is a couple new tables that we've added to our Shopify Orders Explorer. That would be our order note attributes and our Shopify product meta. So going back here, and we can open up our Orders Explorer, you'll notice that there are now two new tables, order note attributes here, which is just a key and value field, but it's within your Shopify application. If you have different kind of custom tags on your different orders or order notes, this is where that data lives. And then the other table is this Shopify product meta table. Again, this is a key and value field, but it is broken down by product ID. And these are going to be any sort of product custom meta fields or custom tags that you have attached to any products within your Shopify application. That's where these will live now. And those are all, pre-joined in our Shopify Orders Explorer. So you can report on, all sorts of data coming out of those two new tables there. Continuing to go down the list, we've added a new table to the Shopify fulfillments table. So the fulfillments table is very similar to your orders table, but this tracks more of when your orders are actually fulfilled and shipped out. So adding this fulfillment item properties table is pretty similar in that it's more tag related, extra notes type data on your fulfillment items. So that can be found if we back out and go into the Fulfillment Orders Explorer. You'll now see those item properties contained here within your Fulfillment Orders Explorer. The next thing, and I should have shown you this while we were still in the Shopify Orders Explorer, but that's okay, we can go back, is another meta field table. And we can go back to our orders. And this is just more meta field type data. And now that I look at it, I think that was actually a duplication of the line because that's still this table that we talked about earlier. So no biggie there, but that again is just more of your product, custom meta field type data, your different tags and notes you have attributed to all of your different products within Shopify.
Hey, Mitch, really quick before we continue forward, I just want to highlight one part about that product meta table. And for anyone on the call, you may have noticed this throughout some of our other data tables. Certain tables function with a key and value type of relationship. So Mitch, if you scroll back down there, in this specific table, you'll notice that there's a field that's labeled key. That field can be used as, as a column in your data table, it can be used as a filter, and you can also pivot by that. But essentially what that key is going to do is it's going to dictate what piece of metadata you're reporting on. And then the value field at the very bottom of the product meta table is going to be the value itself, again, driven off of the key that you select. So if you're trying to analyze one specific key or piece of product metadata, adding it as a filter is a great option. If you're trying to look at a few metadata points side by side, pivoting by that key field could be helpful as well, so that you can see it, within the same data table.
Yeah, great call out there, Nick. So this is just some sample data that we have pulled in, but you can kind of see how the key field can be repeated over time, but you'll see, broken down by product ID, it's different. So, if we wanted to, only look at where this meta key, we only want to look at product features tags. So we can type that in, and we can actually go ahead and remove that from the table since we're filtering by that. And this is going to allow us just to see, all of the product IDs that have a product features meta tag attached to it. Oh, and I didn't capitalize that. So, but the yeah, that was a great point there, Nick, about the pivoting as well. So we can look at product ID and the value, and then if we want to, as Nick stated, very easy to go to our key and pivot off that. I'm not going to run it just because I think there's thousands of keys and it might take a while to run, but you can kind of see how that key and value table works there.
Yeah, and just if you are going to pivot by that key field, I'd always recommend also having the key as a filter, just to Mitch's point, so that you don't have thousands of columns. You can kind of just narrow it down to a handful of your most important metadata fields.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, great. So the next thing I wanted to show is that we have added a new map layer to our Shopify Orders Explorer that allows us to see data broken down in the UK and not just the US. So if we go to our orders table here and scroll down, we can actually select now the UK zip code. And for the sake of this, we'll just do number of orders just so we can see a measure. And then let's put a date filter on here just so this runs pretty quickly. We'll just look at the last 14 days. So if we go ahead and hit run, and we open up our visualization, you can see now we've got the map layer for the United Kingdom now available for our UK clients. And it's a heat map. So if you scroll over, you can see all of your different regions within the UK. And it doesn't have to be, that just froze on me. It doesn't have to be just number of orders. You can look at net revenue. You can look at, all sorts of different metrics there. Let's go ahead and just get out of that. Cool. So the next thing is the time zone conversion updates that we have made. So essentially, we have been putting in some enhancements within our all of our comparison period code to make sure that when looking at period over period, year over year, that when changing the time zones from UTC to Eastern time or Pacific times, we're making sure that all of that data and code functionality, works correctly. So we've been making some enhancements across, all of our integrations where that comparison period code is active, and we are just about done with getting all of that pushed out. So you should see kind of some enhanced performance with the comparison periods and being able to dynamically change your time zones as you use that period over period or year over year analysis. The next thing, going off of that comparison period stuff, we have pushed out live all of the comparison period code for our Gorgeous integration. So just as a quick example, if we go to our Gorgeous Tickets Explorer, you'll now notice that we have the ability to run our period over period, year over year analysis using this current period date, our filters here. I'm not going to go through how to run everything through the comparison period stuff. We've done a webinar a few weeks ago that I kind of go through all of that in depth, and that video is saved onto our documentation on our website. So definitely check that out if you have any questions about how to use your comparison period code to do year over year or period over period analysis.
Hey, Mitch, before we get into the next one, I just want to call out, we had Pete write in a comment that I'd like to address. So Pete said, when we were looking at the UK map layers, this is great. I love this and use it in our UK performance dashboards. Wondering if you're planning to build map layers for areas outside of the US, such as Australia. So that's a great question, Pete. And, when we're working with our partner Looker, they do have some predefined map layers, US and UK being one of them. They do not currently support a map layer for Australia or New Zealand or anywhere like that. However, we are exploring ways to import a custom map file that would basically be a series of codes. We'll connect with you after the webinar to get some example data from your systems and just make sure that that data from your system maps over to some of what we have planned for the future rollouts. So we're excited to be doing that, and we'll connect with you afterwards, but really glad that you're getting value out of the UK map layer. That's great to hear.
Yeah, it's awesome. Cool. The next thing that I want to go through is we've been pushing out, and I'm sure many of you have probably already seen this live in your account, but we have pushed out live the ability to change the week start date when grouping data in your reports by week. So this is the list of integrations that we've currently got it pushed out to, and we're working on having all of our integrations completed, probably before the end of this year. So if you do have an integration that doesn't have this yet, and you are, wanting that in your account, please reach out to your account manager, and they will contact me and have that integration pushed up higher on the list so I can get that out to you as soon as possible. So I'll walk through really quickly how we can use this functionality. So we'll go back to our Shopify account. Put in our demo account. And for now, we can just do like the last 30 days. So normally, if we wanted to group our data by week, what we would do is down here, hit week. And let's just say for now, we just want to look at number of orders, and we would hit run. So Looker's out of the box kind of just how always goes is it starts on Monday. So you'll see, the 28th is a Monday, the 21st is a Monday. So that's just kind of Looker's standard, how they have that order week set up. So we had a lot of requests from customers saying, oh, but my company, my business looks at, weekly based off of, Sunday to Saturday, or, Monday to Sunday, or Tuesday, et cetera. So what we've done is, and we can go ahead and remove this, you'll notice in pretty much every table within your integrations, you'll see now this filter only field called week start. If I click on that, it's actually going to give you the ability to choose whatever day of the week you want your week grouping to start on. So let's say instead of Monday being the standard, we want to have it as Sunday. So then right under that, there's a new dimension here called alternate week start. So we can go ahead and select that and hit run. And you'll now notice that the week groupings start on the 20th, the 13th, the 6th. Sorry, they're out of order, but you get the gist. And, same thing, like, I'm not sure why, but if you said your business, we look at, Wednesday to Tuesday, we can hit that and it'll switch your week start to Wednesday, and then your order numbers will change based off of that grouping. So really good functionality that we've had a lot of customer requests for. So hopefully that comes in handy. And like I said, if you find an integration that you have connected that doesn't have that functionality yet, please let your account manager know, so that they can prioritize that integration on the list that I'm working through as we implement this. All right. The next thing is we've added some, this is kind of not something I really probably need to show you, but we can just walk through. So new Bright Pearl fields were added to our Bright Pearl integration for both the orders and the refunds explorer. You'll see those fields here: allocation status, due date, our parent order ID, and created by ID. 3 new tables were added to the Bright Pearl Inventory Explorer. You'll notice your price list table, the contacts table, and the product custom fields. If you use ShipStation, you'll notice that we added some new billing address fields for city, state, zip, and country for the ShipStation Orders Explorer. In Ship Hero, we have added 2 new explorers for picking and packing data. And those explorers are actually called Picker and Packer. So those will be for any Ship Hero integration setup that you have. We've added a couple new fields for our Yotpo integration for the Customers Explorer, an opt-in and an opt-in at field, which is the date field. And then last thing is we've added 3 new fields to the Bright Pearl Journals Explorer for due date, tax date, and description. So, all right, Nick, I think that was it in terms of all of the product updates we have. So if you want to touch on the last piece for upcoming roadmap stuff, I think we can wrap it up.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you, Mitch, so much for walking through those updates. One thing to note, if no one's familiar with, just to jump back to row 15, the Ship Hero Picker and Packer Explorers. If you're not familiar with that and you are working for a company that maintains a warehouse or multiple warehouses, that picker packer data is essentially going to kind of highlight the folks responsible for updating your company's inventory. So from an inventory management perspective and monitoring your efficiencies and all of those good things to make sure when an order is placed that it's picked and packed and updated in your systems, that's a great table to reference there.
Yeah.
As far as the upcoming items that I wanted to touch on before we wrap this up. We've got 2 new integrations getting ready to be rolled out to Glew Plus with Looker. The first of which being Square. Square is a financial payment system. So if you use it or have not used it, plugs into the back of an iPhone, or it's a POS system and it captures all of that payment information. That will be rolled out in early December. And then the second integration, which will be rolled out, is Salesforce Marketing Cloud. That's going to be tracking all of your emails, automations, things of that nature. So we're very excited to be releasing both of those sources. And if you do use either of those, please feel free to reach out to your account rep, and we'll make sure that as soon as that's released, we get your data connected, ingested, and reflecting in Looker. I think from our end, I don't want to say that's it, because that's quite a bit of stuff. But we're really looking forward to continuing to host webinars like this one, where we can continually keep everyone updated as far as our implementation of Looker, things that we've released recently, and new functionality that's available for you guys to take advantage of. So as always, we would really appreciate any feedback that you guys have. If there's things that you're sitting on internally and you're thinking to yourself, man, I wish we could have a dedicated session for this, chances are someone else is also feeling that way. And if we can understand that, we'd be happy to schedule time to review it. So we welcome all feedback, any and all. And we'll stay in touch with you guys with the recording of this video. And we appreciate you guys joining today. Thank you guys so much. And Mitch, thank you for walking through those.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Thank you guys.
All right. Thanks, everyone.